Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. On day 2 of his Ahmedabad visit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate 2 historic milestones in the e-vehicle sector, underscoring India's emergence as a global hub for green mobility. Indian Navy all set to commission advanced stealth frigates, INS Udaygiri and Himgiri at Naval Base in Visakhapatnam, displaying India's defence manufacturing power. Iran to hold new round of nuclear talks with European powers in Geneva today, while the country's supreme leader, Khamenei, refuses to obey US and vows to resist. Trump warns of consequences if Putin and Zelenskyy do not meet to end the growing conflict. Meanwhile, Kyiv rejects Russia's recent proposals for peace, citing it does not amount to real concessions. On day 2 of his Gujarat visit, Prime Minister will inaugurate and flag off the VITARA in Gujarat today. It is a Japanese firm, Suzuki's first global strategic battery electric vehicle. The made in India BEVs will be exported to more than 100 countries. With this milestone, India will now serve as Suzuki's global manufacturing hub for electric vehicles. We get to a report.
In a landmark moment, PM Modi will flag off the VITARA, Suzuki's first ever global battery electric vehicle manufactured in India. This is a significant breakthrough as these made in India BEVs will be exported to over 100 countries, including advanced markets like Europe and Japan. The company aims to cater both domestic and international markets from Gujarat. This significant milestone is the result of a seeding that took place in the year 2011 when Prime Minister Modi, as the Chief Minister of Gujarat, invited Suzuki, and Suzuki established a car plant here in Hansalpur.
This is the first global manufacturing for Suzuki for BEVs, and it will be shipped to about more than 100 countries of the world, including advanced countries like in Europe or Japan. The economic cooperation extends to far beyond just industrial infrastructure. It's also about social infrastructure. The state of Gujarat has a natural advantage for exports because of its proximity to the ports, and it has some of the high quality ports with this infrastructure helping us for exports to many countries of the world.
The partnership between Gujarat and Suzuki continues to be a story of progress and prosperity. The Hansalpur region has emerged as a major hub for automotive growth, fueling not just industry but also social development. PM Modi will also inaugurate next phase of India's battery ecosystem by the start of local production by hybrid battery electrodes at the TDS lithium-ion battery plant in Gujarat. The plant is a joint venture between Toshiba, Denso and Suzuki, marking another leap toward India's Atmanirbhar Bharat vision. From electric cars to advanced battery solutions, these 2 milestones symbolize India's growing leadership in sustainable mobility and clean energy innovation. Meghna Dev's report for DD India.
Earlier on Monday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated and laid the foundation stone and dedicated to the nation multiple development projects worth 5,400 crore rupees. The Prime Minister also dedicated multiple railway projects worth over 1,400 crore rupees to the nation, including doubling of the 65 kilometers Mehsana-Palanpur rail line worth over 530 crore rupees, gauge conversion of the 37 kilometers Kalol-Kadi-Katosan road rail line and 40 kilometers Bechraji-Ranoj rail line worth over 860 crore rupees. Later in the evening, Prime Minister Modi held a public rally in Khodaldham ground in Ahmedabad. Speaking at the event, Prime Minister said that the world has seen how India avenged Pahalgam.
दुनिया ने देखा है कि पहलगाम का बदला भारत ने कैसे लिया। बावीस मिनिट में બધું સફા ચટ કરી નાખ્યું। અને સેંકડો કિલોમીટર અંદર જઈને નક્કી કરેલા નિશાન પર જ વાર કરીને આતંકવાદની નાભી પર હુમલો કર્યો આપણે। ऑपरेशन सिंदूर हमारी सेना के शौर्य और सुदर्शन चक्रधारी मोहन के भारत की इच्छा शक्ति का प्रतीक बन गया है।
The Indian Prime Minister said that everyone is busy doing politics based on economic interests, but his government will never let any harm come to the small entrepreneurs, farmers or animal keepers.
आप सभी आज दुनिया में आर्थिक स्वार्थ वाली राजनीति सबको अपना करने में लगा है। उसे हम भली भांति देख रहे हैं। मैं अहमदाबाद की इस धरती से अपने लघु उद्यमियों से कहूंगा, मेरे छोटे छोटे दुकानदार भाई बहनों से कहूंगा, मेरे किसान भाइयों से कहूंगा, मेरे पशुपालक भाई बहन से कहूंगा, और मैं गांधी की धरती पे से बोल रहा हूं, मेरे देश के लघु उद्यमी हो, किसान हो, पशुपालक हो, हर किसी के लिए मैं आपको बार बार वादा करता हूं, मोदी के लिए आपके हित सर्वोपरि है। मेरी सरकार लघु उद्यमियों का, किसानों का, पशुपालकों का कभी भी अहित नहीं होने देंगी। दबाव कितना ही क्यों ना आए, हम झेलने की अपनी ताकत बढ़ाते जाएंगे।
The Indian Navy is set to commission the latest state-of-the-art Project 17A multi-mission stealth frigates Udaygiri and Himgiri at Visakhapatnam Naval Base on Tuesday. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will preside over the ceremony. This will be the first occasion when two frontline surface combatants constructed at two different shipyards will be commissioned simultaneously, underscoring the growing maritime importance of India's eastern seaboard. Both these vessels incorporate significant improvement in design, stealth, weapon and sensor systems and are capable of executing full spectrum of maritime missions in blue water conditions. In keeping with the Navy's tradition of reviving names of illustrious predecessors, both frigates are named after earlier INS Udaygiri and INS Himgiri that served the nation with distinction of over 30 years before being decommissioned. The commissioning of Udaygiri and Himgiri will augment the Navy's combat readiness and reaffirm India's resolve to achieve self-reliance in warship design and construction. Upon commissioning, the two frigates will join the Eastern Fleet, strengthening India's ability to safeguard its maritime interests across the Indian Ocean region. The Indian Air Force is all set to retire its iconic MiG-21 fighter aircraft in September this year. The farewell ceremony will be held at Chandigarh Air Base, where the 23rd Squadron, popularly known as the Panthers, will fly the jet for the last time. Accompanied by the Indian Air Force Chief A.P. Singh, DD India correspondent Vishal Baristow travelled to the Naval Air Base near Pakistan border to bring you this exclusive report. Take a look.
The Indian Air Force Chief and Squadron Leader Priya is all set for the skies. Air Chief Marshal Amarpreet Singh closely inspecting the aircraft before sitting in the cockpit. Now the roaring MiG is on the runway, eager to scare the enemy across the border.
For the last 6 decades, this Russian beauty has been the backbone of Indian Air Force. It has skills that goes up to F-16 from Pakistan. And now it's the time to say goodbye to MiG-21. It would be replaced by our own Tejas.
The phasing out of the MiG-21 fleet is part of the Indian Air Force's self-reliance and modernization plans. It will be replaced by the indigenously developed Tejas Mark 1A fighter aircraft.
I think it is going to be one aircraft which is going to be missed by people who have flown it earlier. But yes, everything has time and place. Now we have to move on because this technology is old. It's very difficult to maintain this technology now. So we've decided to now call it a day for this aircraft and move on to the new platforms like the Tejas Mark II. Rafales have come in, Su-30s are already operating. So these platforms will take this place.
The departure of MiG-21 is the end of an era for the Indian Air Force. Since its induction in 1963, the MiG-21 has served India for more than 6 decades.
This is MiG-21, the first supersonic fighter jet of Indian Air Force. Soon it's going to be history. So let's talk about its glorious past, and I have with me Wing Commander Jaideep Singh, who himself has flown this beautiful fighter jet. How's the feeling? Because soon it would be history.
The MiG-21, although a high-speed supersonic, it was designed for shooting down the B-52 bomber at high altitudes. In fact, the pilots wore a pressure suit when it was initially inducted. But the Indian Air Force utilized the MiG-21s in all the roles, including ground attack roles.
This aircraft has been an important weapon for the Indian Air Force. This fighter aircraft has given a tough time to the enemy in all major wars, including the 1965 and 1971 wars with Pakistan, the 1999 Kargil War, and the 2019 Balakot airstrikes. Not only this, MiG-21 was also deployed on the operational duties during Operation Sindoor against Pakistan. Vishal Baristow's exclusive report for DD India.
Amsterdam is hosting Sail, one of the world's largest tall ship festivals. It celebrates maritime history but also shines light on the future cooperation. India's sail training ship INS Tarangini has proudly ignored in the past editions, a symbol of the strong and growing maritime ties between India and the Netherlands. Our correspondent Mark Limburg has more on this.
Every 5 years, Amsterdam becomes the stage for Sail, one of the largest maritime festivals in the world. Millions of visitors line the harbour to watch a fleet of majestic tall ships sail in, celebrating centuries of seafaring history and tradition. Among those proud ships in past editions was India's own sailing training vessel, the INS Tarangini. Her presence here was more than ceremonial. It reflected India's maritime strength and the long shared nautical connection between India and the Netherlands. That connection is not only historic, but also very current. Recently, India and the Netherlands agreed to establish a green and digital maritime corridor linking India's ports with Rotterdam. The aim is to make shipping cleaner, safer and more sustainable, a vital step for the future of global trade, including the transport of green hydrogen and other clean fuels. So while Sail is a celebration of the past, it also points to the future. The participation of the Tarangini remains a proud symbol of friendship, cooperation and a shared commitment to maritime innovation between India and the Netherlands. Mark Limburg reporting for DD India from Amsterdam, the Netherlands.
Prime Minister of Fiji, Sitiveni Rabuka, who is on an India visit, will deliver the lecture on Ocean of Peace in the national capital today. Earlier on Monday, the visiting Prime Minister called on the President of India, Draupadi Murmu, at Rashtrapati Bhavan in New Delhi. Also, Prime Minister Rabuka held delegation-level talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The two leaders also witnessed the exchange of memoranda of understanding, further enhancing collaboration between the two countries. Overall, the two sides inked 7 pacts to broad-based cooperation in sectors including health and medical services, migration and mobility, capacity building, and on big impact projects. Prime Minister Modi announced the setting up of a 100-bedded super speciality hospital in Suva, the capital of Fiji. The visit underscores the long-standing and close ties between India and Fiji, reaffirming both nations' commitment to strengthening bilateral cooperation across all sectors and deepening people-to-people connection. Let's get you weather updates from across India. Heavy to very heavy rainfall is likely to continue over northwest India. As per the Indian Met Department, an upper air cyclonic circulation is lying over northwest Bay of Bengal, off Odisha and West Bengal coasts at lower and middle tropospheric levels, tilting southwards with height. Heavy rainfall is very likely to continue over Konkan, Goa, Maharashtra during the next 7 days. Another low-pressure area will form over Bay of Bengal and cover parts of central India, including Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Jharkhand, parts of Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and Delhi. Heavy to very heavy rainfall continues to lead to widespread destruction in Himachal Pradesh, with houses being damaged at several places and several roads being closed. The district administration in Mandi, Kangra, Chamba, Una, Bilaspur and Kullu districts have ordered closure of educational institutions in view of the rains. You're watching DD India Live. We're heading for a short break, but after the break, Israel's Security Cabinet to meet today to discuss Gaza. Stay with us for a quick roundup on the massive devastation caused by wildfires across the United States. Also, we get you all the action from the second day of the 2025 US Open. Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India Live. Let's get you updates on the Russia-Ukraine conflict. US President Donald Trump stated that there could be consequences if Russian President Putin and Ukrainian President Zelenskyy do not meet, emphasizing that the two leaders should meet. He also said that he would wait a week or two before deciding on further action.
Yeah, there could be very big consequences, but we'll see what happens. There might be very big consequences because this is something that has to end. So we'll see what happens over the next week or two. And at that point, I'll step in very strongly. And if I have to be there, I'll be there. And we'll either have a deal or we won't.
Trump added that he had not discussed specific security guarantees for Ukraine, but reaffirmed US support. He acknowledged the conflict was harder to resolve than expected, partly due to the tremendous dislike between Putin and Zelenskyy.
Well, you don't know what security guarantee is because we haven't even discussed the specifics of it. And we'll see. Number one, Europe is going to give them significant security guarantees, and they should because they're right there. But we'll be involved from the standpoint of backup. We're going to help them.
Meanwhile, on Monday, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy rejected Russia's peace proposals as lacking real concessions during a meeting with German Vice-Chancellor Lars Klingbeil in Kyiv. Klingbeil also expressed skepticism over Putin's intentions, warning that the Russian leader may not be seeking a serious peace, and reaffirmed Germany's commitment to bolstering Ukraine's military strength.
Що стосується поступок Росії, мені про це невідомо. Я не вважаю ті речі, які звучали з російської сторони, що вони готові не захоплювати далі Україну, є поступки.
Nuclear talks between Iran and Britain, France and Germany will be held on Tuesday in Geneva, marking the second such meeting since Iran's mid-June 12-day conflict with Israel and subsequent US strikes on Tehran's nuclear facilities. It comes after Iran suspended cooperation with the United Nations nuclear watchdog, with Tehran pointing to the International Atomic Energy Agency's failure to condemn Israeli and US strikes on its nuclear facilities. The previous round of talks was held in Istanbul on July 25th. The Israeli Security Cabinet will meet on Tuesday evening in Jerusalem to discuss renewed negotiations for a ceasefire and hostage release deal. The Security Cabinet approved in early August a plan for the military to take over Gaza City, but Tuesday's meeting is expected to focus on resuming negotiations for a ceasefire and the release of hostages still being held in the Palestinian territory. Last week, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had ordered immediate talks on the release of all remaining captives in Gaza. That came days after Hamas said that it had accepted a new ceasefire proposal put forward by mediators that would see the staggered release of hostages over an initial 60-day period in exchange for Palestinian prisoners held by Israel. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that Israel deeply regretted what he described as the tragic mishap that occurred at the Nasser hospital in the south of Gaza Strip on Monday. An Israeli strike on Nasser hospital killed at least 20 people, including 5 journalists who worked for agencies including Reuters, the Associated Press and Al Jazeera. Israel's military, the Israel Defense Forces, acknowledged striking the area of Nasser hospital and said that the chief of the general staff had ordered an inquiry.
Hamas began this war, created impossible fighting conditions, and is preventing its end by still holding 50 of our hostages. Having said that, as a professional military committed to international law, we are obligated to investigate our operations thoroughly and professionally. The Chief of the General Staff has instructed that an inquiry be conducted immediately to understand the circumstances of what happened and how it happened. Reporting from an active war zone carries immense risk, especially in a war with a terrorist organization such as Hamas, who cynically hides behind the civilian population.
Deputy Speaker of Nepal's House of Representatives, Indira Rana Magar of Rashtriya Swatantrata Party, is facing allegations of misconduct and a political power struggle. The Anti-Human Trafficking Bureau has launched a suo motu investigation in Indira Rana Magar case. The primary reason for action against Deputy Speaker Rana is cited by the Nepali Congress and CPN-UML, the two major ruling parties, as a controversy that surfaced from a letter she wrote to the US Embassy in February 2023. The letter requested expedited visa interviews for herself and 5 other individuals who were later discovered to be not related to her secretariat. Wildfires raging in Northern California, wine country and also Central Oregon have destroyed multiple homes and threatened thousands more as hot, dry weather created challenges for firefighters who are battling the blazes. Firefighters sprayed down hills scorched by a wildfire in Oregon that has burned through nearly 22,000 acres and endangered thousands of homes. Authorities said that as of Monday, the flat fire is only 5% contained, and nearly 800 firefighters are working to contain it. Meanwhile, in Northern California's Napa County, a wildfire dubbed the Picket Fire has charred more than 7,000 acres and is only 13% contained. Authorities said around 1,200 firefighters have been deployed and helicopters are being used to bring in personnel due to the steep terrain. And now we turn focus to sports. We'll get you updates from 2025 US Open. American Frances Tiafoe launched his latest bid to end the American men's drought at the US Open with a confident win over Japan's Yoshihito Nishioka. The twice semi-finalist joins 4th seed Taylor Fritz and 6th seed Ben Shelton in the second round as they aim to become the first American man to lift the US Open trophy in 22 years. 12th seed Casper Ruud cruised his way into round 2. Ruud registered straight sets win against Austria's Sebastian Ofner 6-1, 6-2, 7-6. That's it in this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. We'll be waiting for your feedback. As of now, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.